And as we come out the pause, ladies and gentlemen, what's happening? It's your man Dame the NYDC. Two mics up. Wednesday night. We back. It's live from the DMV. And tonight I'm gonna be rocking the mic with a special guest. And this gentleman, he's coming from H Town. He's coming from the Houston, Texas area, and got his information, from someone who's just reaching out. Cuzzo, what's happening, Cuz? How you doing? Thanks for joining me tonight. Good to see you. Glad to see you doing well. This brother, he's a veteran, and I wanted to do something special for Veterans Day, in honor of, and we haven't really talked sports in a while here on Two Mics Up. Haven't done any basketball, no football yet this year, but I wanted to do this tonight because young lady reached out to me and really gave me this brother's information. And Cliff, what's happening, my brother? Salute to you, man. Keep it 100, my man Cliff Durham. One of our proud sponsors. Thanks for tuning in tonight. And this gentleman, he's a veteran. He's changing young men's lives and impacting the community in a way that we don't really see much anymore. And I want to talk. I'm gonna bring him out in a second because we had talked about some things that kind of touched my heart and touched me, as a kid. Bro, what's happening? Oscar, what's good, man? Thanks for tuning in tonight. Good to see you, man. We gotta catch up, man. I ain't talk to you in a minute, and I mean face to face. We got to catch up. But I think I'm going to drag this out long enough. But I think you guys understand and see where I'm going. So let me bring to the stage and bring to the other mic tonight's guest, Lawrence Blackwell, my brother, as better known and better loved known as Coach Cap. Coach, how you doing this evening, sir?
Hey, doing great, man. So glad to be here. I appreciate you having me on.
No, it's my honor and my pleasure to have you on. For those of you who are not familiar, Coach Cap is a former veteran, and he's really doing some great things. And I'm not going to steal his thunder. I'm going to go ahead and give Coach Cap the floor and allow him to introduce himself to you all and give us a little background about you, Coach, and what's going on down there in H-Town.
So Dame D, NYC, allow me to reintroduce myself.
There you go. Do it.
So I'm Lawrence Blackwell, originally from Houston, Texas, also known as Coach Cap. I'm the founder and CEO of Community Athletic Partnership, CAP, where we teach the sweet science. Originally, like I said, originally from Houston, Texas. I'm married to a wonderful wife who's my boss. Don't tell her I said that. We have a blended family of 3 daughters and 4 sons.
Wow.
I found and fell in love with the sport of boxing back in 1991. Had 180 amateur fights, only lost 20. Had 2 pro fights at the age of 44 once I retired from the Army.
Wow.
Won 1, lost 1. But nonetheless, in short, that's me in a nutshell.
Look here, Coach. So look, man, I mean that is, first of all, the amateur side alone. Man, those numbers, that's almost unheard of. So I mean, were you like in the ring like what, once a week? I mean, like, how was that, Coach? Like, how did you really get down with that? And what weight class were you fighting in, and this was in the military, correct?
So I was actually boxing before I went to the military.
Okay.
I started boxing back in 91.
Okay.
And yeah, I was in I was consistent, and I was obsessed with I was literally obsessed with trying to be the best at boxing.
Mm-hmm.
I had played other sports, football, baseball, growing up, but I was always your average guy coming off the bench kind of deal, right? But with this sport, I found it, and I really wanted to be good at it. So I really dedicated myself And yeah, I was in the gym on a daily basis and boxing all the time. And then eventually, while I was in college, a recruiter kept, he was after me, like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you can join the Army. And when he found out that I boxed, how he convinced me was he said, man, the Army has the best boxing team out of all the branches. I was like,
Right.
you can box in the military? He said, yeah. So in my mind, I'm like, I'm pretty much a semi-pro athlete if I get on the team, right?
Right.
And unfortunately, I did not make the team, but I did get a chance to participate in the All Army program. So I am an alumni of all that. And
That's what's
it
up,
was a great
coach.
experience. Needless to say, a lot of what I learned there and all these other years, I still utilize today
Mm-hmm.
in my training regimen. And which, I have an alter ego that my wife kind of came up with.
Uh-oh.
It's called Major Cap Pain. Major.
Uh-oh.
So I'll have on whatever, and I'll have my fatigue, my BDU pants and combat boots on, and I got a drill sergeant hat. And so yeah, for long story short, a lot of people with my training regimen, a lot of people say, "Man, you're a drill sergeant." I never went to drill sergeant school, but you might as well say I am because the training is rigorous. So
Right. Well,
yeah.
that leads to, though, like we were talking before we came on, and one of the things I want you to touch on, if you can, is, I was sharing a story how coming up, as a kid in New York, and we used to have our community rec center, we used to have the police athletics, where a lot of kids in the inner cities and things like that could kind of go to and really learn skills. And you brought up a great word, um, mentorship and being mentored. Can you kind of talk about that and like the importance, like how you brought that and melded those two together, from your experience, being in the service and marrying that with boxing and what you're doing now?
So man, I could share some. I could share some stories about this. I first found out about mentorship while I was in the military. I was going through my process because when I went in the Army, even though I had a college degree, I went in as an enlisted soldier initially.
Mm-hmm.
But I always had the passion and desire to want to switch over and be an officer. I knew I had it in me to be so much more. And so after about 8 years in service, I remember going to the OCS board, and I had a mustache. Needless to say, uh, there's an unwritten rule amongst officers that you are clean shaved, whether
Mm-hmm.
they tell you or not. My mustache was within tolerance of regulation, but uh, yeah, nobody told me.
Right.
And I was denied my first time, my
Wow.
first go round at the board. Needless
Wow.
to say, that led me on a journey where, I remember having that conversation with some retired senior officers, and I asked, "What's the big deal about the mustache?" And the guy said to me, and this was mentorship. He
Mm-hmm.
said to me, he said, "Let's say, for instance, there's one slot to choose someone to be an officer,
Mm-hmm.
and you're a candidate and you have another candidate, and both of y'all look equal on paper, equal physically. The one that doesn't have a mustache will more than
Wow.
likely get the slot. Why? Because they're going to use that. They're going to need to find something to disqualify you,
Qualify you. Yeah.
and that will be the thing. That when he said that, boom, the light bulb went off.
Mm-hmm.
Needless to say, after that, I started chasing and looking for mentors, guys that could guide me and give me guidance and direction. Needless to say, I know it was a bit of a long story, but needless to say, when I moved back home to Houston, I ran into a young man who was in college at my alma mater, and he said some things that really bothered me. And then I, in turn, asked him, did he know what a mentor was? He had no clue.
Wow.
Long story short, I felt like, man, that's what a lot of these kids are missing. I see so many of them,
Yep.
they can go
Yep.
left or they can go
All
right,
right. Mm-hmm.
right? And who knows, maybe I come in contact with them and I say, hey man, how you doing today?
That's right.
What's your plan today? What you gonna do?
That's right.
What you gonna do in 5 years? And maybe that changes his trajectory. He
Mm-hmm.
makes that right. He makes the correct turn, the right turn, right?
Right.
And next thing you know, his life is on track.
Mm.
Uh,
And
and so, long story short, I have impacted so many kids already through the sport of boxing. And so, yeah, that's what that we're lacking that big time mentorship.
and that was really the key for me. Once we started researching, really digging in, to you and your background and your story, that's what really resonated with me. One, as a young man who was raised by a single parent, and being blessed to have certain men and mentors in my life to kind of, like you said, make learn. You're given the tools to make the right decisions,
Right.
right? And so many of us need that. But I do want to talk too, then, Coach Cap. Let's really dive more into what you're doing with the community athletic partnership, and what is that really about? Like, what? Let's talk about that extension, because it sounds like it's an extension of you, the man. But now, how is that extending out into the community and the work that you're doing there in Houston?
So, CAP is a 501c3. We look to mentor young adults through the sport of boxing in a nutshell, right? We look to teach kids leadership, discipline. Uh, Believe it or not, we also look to teach kids business management skills.
Mm, mm,
That has a lot to do with why I was able to convince Texas Southern University to allow me to start a boxing club at the school, because I told them when these kids get ready to graduate, they'll be able to put this on their resume and they'll be able to walk
wow,
into somebody's Fortune 500 company and
wow.
hit the ground running. Or they could literally turn and start their own business because they will have the entrepreneurial skills
Yeah.
that they need. So, long story short, along with that, we also assist with, look to support with uh, travel expenses, training expenses, equipment, and just pretty much whatever young kids need to succeed in the ring as well as in life.
And that's what I love, that because that you're doing more than just giving them skills within the ring.
Yes.
You're actually mentoring them for life outside of the ring. Because like in most things, like you said, being an athlete, at some point, all of us thought we were somebody. Yeah, we all had a favorite somebody.
Yeah.
Then you come to the realization, like you so kindly said, well, realize I was just that regular guy. I was just an average guy. So
Yeah.
you got to develop other skills to prepare you for life after sports and outside of sports. So I love that you're doing that. Have you been able to have, like, do you have any partners there in the community that are working with you, or the program that's actually helping to build those skills for the youth outside the community?
So, as far as programs and whatnot, I've recently met. I've recently met a couple of doctors.
Wow.
They have PhDs and in their prospective industry, so they're not medical doctors, but needless to say, they specialize in organization of businesses, consulting of businesses, and whatnot. And one is a Lotus. Do you know
Yeah,
Lotus?
not from yep, Lotus, I'm
Okay,
familiar with.
so Lotus is a part of my board. Dr.
Mm-hmm.
Sabita Singh, I think is her last name. She's recently come on board. These women are amazing, amazing. I have another one. I can't think of her name. She literally just within the last few days, it's crazy. They hear my story
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Man, can I help you?
That's
Like,
right.
do you have all your board members?" And before you know it, we're collaborating. Hence, community athletic partnership. Right, we're
Man.
teaming up to tackle this thing of mentorship and trying to bring this next generation forward.
Man, that is so dope right there. That's beyond, that's awesome right there. And it makes me then too want to think, and I have to ask,
Uh-huh.
you probably wear a lot of different hats. And talk about, because we were talking about it before we came on air. Not only your role, but talk about some of the things that you're dealing with right now, trying to manage as you prepare yourself for your event, which we're going to talk about coming up.
Right, right. So right now, at this very moment, while I am sitting in here with you in the very next room, we have a sports nutrition clinic set up. We have teamed up with a company called MyFit Foods,
Mhm.
and so they are hosting the class. They're teaching the class, and so basically, with a lot of boxers, they have to cut weight.
Right.
Well, there's a right way and a wrong way to do that.
Mhm.
And so, take my son who boxes. He a lot of times struggles with cutting weight. And next thing you know, by the time he does make weight, he's weak because
Mhm.
he's drained himself, starved himself from water, all these different things. Well, the great thing with My Fit Foods is they offer these very tasty meals, ready-made meals that are healthy, low in calories. They help you get your calorie count, but at the same time help you achieve your goal. If you're trying to cut weight, help you achieve your goal. If you're trying to pack on muscle, help you
Mhm.
achieve your goal. So we felt the need to say, you know what? Let's see if we can set up a class. So we got that going on. I got some media guys here that are that's doing a professional photo shoot. A lot of the boxers that are going to be here because a lot of them don't have the professional photos and poses they need for graphics and flyers. Because guess what? There's another aspect to boxing
Mhm.
that's kind of taking over the sport, and that's social media and marketing and
Yep.
branding. And
Yep.
so that's another aspect that we're bringing to the table. That's another thing we're adding value uh, to these boxers. They
And
need that moving
yep.
forward.
Yep.
Especially if they plan to turn pro at some point, they're
Yep.
going to need that. So that's another thing that we're offering today. So all that's going on, and yeah, I'm sitting here with you doing the podcast. So
And that's what I'm talking about. Look, I love it, man. When I hear and when you got on and you got things going on in the background, and I can see it in your face. And you're a little flustered trying to get everything going. I'm like, no, man,
yeah,
you booked and blessed, man. This is how it's supposed to happen. The sun, the moon, the stars, all align. This is how it's supposed to be, Coach. You doing it. So,
it's funny. It's funny you say that. I retired from the Army in 2015.
mhm.
Uh, you know, I felt like, man, it's gonna be easy to get a job. Don't you know I have yet to get a 9 to 5 job anywhere? I have a degree, was a retired U.S. Army captain, but I cannot get hired anywhere,
Wow.
right? And so when you keep talking about the universe and the stars aligning,
Hmm.
a lot of times I sit back and I say, well, maybe God is preventing that
That's right.
because this is where I need you right now.
That's right. And sometimes, just being honest, like sometimes you can't block yourself. Sometimes you just gotta open up, man, and let it do what it's supposed to do,
Right.
and let it run its course. And whatever God has in store for you is gonna be there, and you just got to be ready to walk through that door. And right now you got everything going on, so it's awesome to hear. It's awesome to see. But I do want to ask you too.
Uh-huh.
You know, for you, how has boxing really impacted your life? Like, what would you say to someone, you meet a young man who's not really sure, maybe has skills or something that you see. What could you share that with someone that, to say, how boxing, like your slogan, boxing changes lives. Like,
Changes lives.
yeah.
So when I started boxing in 1991,
Hmm.
I was already in school. I was at Texas Southern University, but man, I was broke.
Mm.
Needless to say, hanging out with the wrong crowd, trying to make some fast money. I ended up spending some time in the county. Needless to say,
Right.
um, long story short, luckily God showed favor. My case was dismissed, and man, I did not look back. I went and joined the military. Um, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Let me back up. I started boxing. That's what it was.
Hmm.
Boxing had turned me around, and so uh, I know what it did for me.
Right.
And then along with that, while I was in the military boxing, you know, I found out that all the military academies like West Point, Annapolis, the Coast Guard, all these different military academies offer boxing, and it's a required class, right? And so as I did a little more research into it, I thought to myself, man, well, why is it such a big deal that they do it and they don't do it everywhere else? Well, in the military, they believe that boxing offers courage at a premium.
Mm,
Teaches courage at a premium. It's almost like you can play all these other sports, you can do all these other things, and you can gain confidence, right?
right.
But man, there is no confidence like knowing you can stand in the fire.
Right.
Meaning you got Mike Tyson in front of
Right.
you trying to take your head off. And you can stand in front of him and know that you can survive because you've
Wow.
been taught the skills that you need, right? So confidence had a premium. Needless to say, the thing that really struck me was, well, if it's good enough for our military academies and our military leaders, why are we giving this to our young adults, our
Mm,
regular kids that's not going to the military?
mm.
Why are we giving this to them? And so boxing has made such an impact on me and my life and turned me around for the better. And I know it has impacted so many others.
Right.
I started thinking, why aren't we? I started thinking, man, I'm going to try to grow high school and college boxing.
Wow.
A lot of people don't know it exists. And so, but it does. There are two governing bodies for college boxing. And so that is also part of my initiative working to grow high school and college boxing. So I am currently the head coach for the Texas Southern University boxing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So long story short, how has it impacted me? It has impacted me tremendously. And in turn, it created a domino effect. I have impacted hundreds and hundreds of others positively through the sport of boxing.
Man, look here. This gentleman is inspiring. I mean, I got it because you got a lot of hats going on. Like I said, between that Texas Southern, everything you're doing in the community, the event that's coming up, which we're gonna talk about. But I'm gonna before I get into that,
Okay.
ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna take a quick pause for the calls. I want to go ahead and say thank you to our sponsors who have been a huge help to us here at Two Mics Up. So I'm going to take a quick pause for the calls. We're going to take this quick commercial break, so don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're back fresh out the break. Your man Dame DMYDC. I'm sitting here with Coach Cap, coming to you straight from H-Town. We talking boxing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. And Coach Cap, we started out, wanted to get, to know you, know more about you, your love for boxing and who you are. And we got that in the first half. But now I want to dive in and really talk about the sport of boxing. And as a fan of the sport growing up, boxing to me is not what boxing used to be when we talk about the sport itself. And I'm just curious to know from your opinion, because I know I have mine, because I think there's this too much with these sanctioning bodies, it's too much with these promoters. But I'm curious to know from someone like yourself who has an extensive amateur career, who does this pretty much every day. This is part of your fabric. In your opinion, like what is the problem with the sport of boxing today?
So a lot of that is vantage point and perspective.
Okay.
So on the one hand, you say there's a problem, and I turn around and the half cup full, half cup empty
Uh-huh.
concept.
Uh-huh.
So I'm that guy. On the one hand, you say, oh, well, boxing things are bad, right? I turn around and I say, well, wait a minute. Floyd Mayweather Jr. in 2022, his net worth was sitting at what was it, $1.8 billion. That's billion
Ridiculous.
with a
Yep.
capital B,
Right.
right?
Ridiculous. Right. Mm-hmm.
Clarissa Shields in women's boxing. I
Mm-hmm.
want to say her net worth 2022 was listed at like 4 million or 4 point something million
Mm-hmm.
dollars. So mind you, is with that particular aspect, it's not balanced yet, but
Right.
it's headed in the right direction.
Right.
Uh, we got some tremendous talent coming up in the game. So, it really just depends on how you're looking at it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, absolutely, I agree. There are challenges. There are challenges that
Mm-hmm.
exist with the networks. With at the end of the day, guys are trying to maintain their undefeated record, and it's about money. So,
Right.
they're making business decisions and
Right.
business moves, and a lot of people don't understand that.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I tell you, the Terrence Crawford Errol Spence fight. I recently watched. Terrence Crawford just did a live
Mm-hmm.
deal where he kind of explained his side of the story.
Right.
Errol Spence Terrence Crawford fight.
Right. Right.
So I totally get and understand his position and his situation and all. And I find it real disappointing that we can't get the deal done. But I also think this is part of the game. This is also part of the game, which is the buildup.
Okay. Okay.
So while we looking at it saying, "Oh man, they can't get the deal done. This is horrible for boxing." Actually, it's part.
No,
It's part of the buildup.
you're talking true facts, but I just think and to me, I think like I said, I don't want to call it because these guys and women are making money that some boxers of the past have never seen.
Never made. Yeah.
But I just think that there's a part that's missing, like that dog where I'm gonna fight the best. I don't care. I don't care what the money is. I don't care what my record is. I don't care if I lose my O. It's about to me, it's about fighting the best. Just putting it out there. And for me, I guess that when I say problem, like to me, I think that's part of what's missing because we're putting the value on the money and the brand before like this is a sport. This is about the bet man on man. Yeah, ain't no other 8 dudes on the field with you or 10 other guys. You know what I'm saying? So I think to me, that's where as a fight fan, we lose out. And then some of those fights, like like you said, Mayweather, I think he was one of the greatest, but in my opinion, as a boxing fan, I think he caught dudes at the end of their career, not when they were both in their prime, you know. So I'm not taking it, can't take away the O, but would have been the same if, like Pacquiao, for example, if he fought him 4 years earlier.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. No, I get it. But then at the same time, as you maneuver and navigate through those sticky waters, so to speak, you got to be strategic.
Yeah.
And so that's why Money Mayweather always talk about, man, I am good. I am well off. I am, my generation is gonna have money.
Of course, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So he made some smart moves. I can't knock him for that.
Yeah.
I agree. Like anybody else, I want to see the big fights too. But yeah, I think there was some strategic moves made
Definitely.
which goes back to right now with Crawford and Spence.
Yeah, because everybody wants that fight. Like that's the fight we all want to see. I don't care who you are. That's the fight we all want to see. Two of the baddest dudes right now walking the planet. Yeah. And we like it's getting to a point where he's like, ah man, the heck with it. Then sometimes I think you wait too long, then the build up, like nobody really, I don't want to say cares. I mean, we're gonna watch it, but the same energy is not gonna be there from the fans. You know what I'm saying? So
yes.
I look forward to it. I hope they can work it out. But I do want to change too, because I want to move to, we're talking about boxing. I want to move to your event that's coming up. You have the Freedom Showcase that's coming up, Veterans Day weekend. Right there in H Town. So Coach, like talk to us about it, man. Like what's going on? Talk to us about the event. We'll talk about the card and everything that's going on down there that you're putting on.
So Saturday, November the 12th, we will have the Freedom Showcase, Veterans Day boxing event, Veterans Day weekend. We got a phenomenal card scheduled. Man, I only have 30 awards to give out, right? Which
Wow.
means I have 30 slots or
Right.
60 slots, right? Because it's 2 people per match, right?
Right.
Can you believe for this one-day show, I generated over 350 something people trying to
Wow.
Cap, man, please let me
That's
get on.
awesome. That's awesome.
Trying to get on into 30, into pretty much 60 slots. So
Wow.
I even went as far as extending all the way up to like 35 matches.
Wow.
But I've since kind of cut back. So I think I'm
Mhm.
down to about 28, 29. I don't want to be there all night. I know the fans don't want to be there all night either. But we got some phenomenal talent on the show. You ever heard of this kid? I think he's 11, 12 years old. Javez Shabazz,
No, I haven't heard of him.
also known as King or King Jr.
Okay.
He's a bit of a rave all on social media. He's real talented. He's a national champion for his
Wow.
weight and age division. Just literally added a day or two ago.
Mhm.
I got a phone call. You know the Grandy twins.
Yeah. Yeah. They
So,
coming through. They coming through. Oh
so,
man,
so I'll have one of the twins fighting on the show, Danny Grandy.
that's what's up.
So they'll be fighting on the show. Who else? I have a few other real talented, popular kids that unfortunately I couldn't get them matched up, but superstars that in their own right.
Right.
Along with them, we got a few members from the Canadian national team flying all the
Oh
way over here.
dang. Okay.
Yeah, so we
That's
got kids from Canada, Chicago, New York, Louisiana, and all over Texas
yeah.
that are coming to get this smoke.
This is a star-studded event, Coach. I mean, so and I have that. For those of us who may not be able to attend,
Yeah.
are you going to be capturing footage? Is there going to be footage that people, know what I'm saying? I mean, for the fight fan who may want to try to catch some footage of what was going on, man, like you going to have any of that?
Excuse me. So, yes, we are working on setting up the live stream. I've never done it before, so this is going to be new territory for me. But once I get it set up, we will post a link. We'll post and promote a link. More than likely, it'll be on Facebook where you can check it out and see, or you'll be able to get the link to our website, www.capboxing.org.
We're gonna make sure we put all of that in the link before we leave out of here tonight.
Okay.
Because
Okay.
I want to make sure, we get people out here in the community, not only in Houston, but across this country, man. I mean, look, Two Mics Up is global now. We in 28 countries, so who knows, man? Whoever can come in and support, check it out. I really want to help support this, and we're gonna change things since we talking about boxing.
Uh-huh.
And I know my team have put together some questions sent out to you, and we talk about top five, and we're gonna clarify, like you said. I think it was in the email. They flashing me right now. Unified champs.
Unified and undisputed
Disputed.
champions.
So
Right.
what I want to do, Coach, because I think we have put together some slides, and I think you gave us five. So I want to start with I think the first one that you gave us here. Is that you
No,
check?
no, go from the bottom
You
up.
want to go from the bottom up? All right, let's see. Let
Go
me make.
go with number
You want
five.
to go with I think number
Five,
five
four,
on your
three,
other.
two, one.
I think your number five was Charlo Jamel.
Jamel Charlo, yeah. So he's done some impressive things. I actually thought when he fought against Tony Harrison, who he lost to, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
I actually thought he won that fight.
I did too.
I actually have some history with Jamel. I won't
Really?
go into it, but
Okay.
Yeah, I got some history with Jamel. I know him. He knows me. Uh,
Okay.
he's a heck of a talent.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a reason I got him at number 5.
Okay. And I will.
So he is number he is undisputed,
Yep.
but at the moment I feel like he is running from the tall kid in his weight.
And
The
it's
real,
Wakely. You
no,
think so?
he's not Venezuelan. Golly, I can't
I
think
know
of
who
his
you're talking
name.
about, the other kid, because it's funny enough because you say that. So you have Charlo is number 5. Now, funny enough, ironically, Charlo's my number 1.
Ah,
I think right now in boxing,
yeah.
I my personal opinion, he's actually my number 1. And I just think, again, when we get into we talked about earlier, I won't say ducking, but I mean, like, I don't want to say there's nobody left to fight, but unless he
Ah,
moves up,
it's
in my
frustrating.
huh? It's
No,
for,
there is. I'm telling you, the kid. What is his name? Sebastian Fundora.
okay.
He's
Okay.
running. He's running from Fundora.
Okay. Hey, look, and that's why this is why I love talking. You talk sports, and I love everybody's opinion. When it comes to these things, because when I saw the list, I was like, wow. I was like 5. It's like, why you got him at the bottom? That's my
So,
number
so,
1.
so watch this. Watch
Okay.
this. So while you have Charlo as your number 1, I have Devin Haney as my number 3.
And
Now,
uh-huh.
now watch this. Watch this. Devin Haney is also undisputed.
Yep.
But guess what?
What?
Unlike Charlo, Devin Haney went to
Yeah,
Cambosa's backyard
he did.
twice.
He did. Yes, he
Not
did.
once, but twice. So guess what? There is no way that right? I
Okay.
get it. It's subjective. It's all our own
Right, right,
opinion.
right.
There's no way I can list Jamel higher than Devin because he hasn't done anything like that.
And that's a very fair and honest and true
Right.
statement. So I cannot I can't knock you on that one. And it's funny. Uh, so even for me, like I love Devin Haney. I think he's one of the baddest dudes on the planet. And you're right for doing what he did twice. But unfortunately, I don't. And it was tough for me. It
Okay.
was really tough for me. He didn't make my 5. He was the
Wow.
next guy. He was the next guy. But again, looking from and again, just being a fan, he didn't make my 5. But I agree with you. Based on just that alone, I would have to rethink maybe where I have Charlo and why I don't have Devin on the list. So that's a great point. So we're gonna move to your number. You had a great one at 4. If in you spoke about him. Two of the baddest dudes on the planet that for whatever reason we can't get
Yeah.
this mega fight to happen.
Now, what's interesting about this is when you look them up on BoxRec,
Mm-hmm.
right? They have them both listed as champions and everything. Errol Spence has like 3 of the 4 major belts.
Yep.
But for whatever reason, why does BoxRec show Terrence Crawford as
Yep.
they got him ranked at number
Yep.
1 over Errol Spence?
Yep.
Spence is the unified champion.
And I'm gonna tell you,
That
that's
is
what.
so funny.
And it's funny when I sat down, I did this. So my number 4 was Errol Spence
Okay.
solely, just based on what you just said. Because I not really getting into the numbers, but for me, I like both of them. But when I looked at it, and that was one of the things that I went and looked at, I was like, yo, how was this dude higher? And you know what I'm saying? Like, so for me alone, I had to go with Spence just based on that alone. Because to me it was just backwards. It didn't make any sense.
So let's say this. So you take Crawford, who's moved up, I want to say 1 or 2 weight
2.
divisions
Mm-hmm.
to
Mm-hmm.
get to what same division as Spence,
Yep.
and he has won championships or either unified in
Mm-hmm.
previous weight classes, and then he moved up and took over somebody else's belt. Yeah, that gives him. I think maybe that has a lot to do with why that gives him the edge. Spence hasn't done that.
Yeah.
He hasn't done that.
It's subjective, like you said. It's all subjective, and it's
So
all fair.
wait. Here's something I want you to also think about when you really a lot of people, and I hope the public are listening. There's a difference between who's the best and who is the best that you like.
Right.
Right. So, for example, man, I love, you know who I really love? That's a hell of a talent.
Who?
Boots.
Boots.
Boots. From Philadelphia.
Yeah.
Oh.
Hold on, I had came across that young man that did.
What is his? Golly, I can't believe I'm forgetting. Too many blows to the head, I guess. Jared, in his boots. I can't think of it right now, but man, he is a hell of a talent.
Right.
And I think when he finally gets his opportunity to, he's gonna take over the division. But right now, I can't give him my top 5 best because he hasn't done what these others have done.
Oh,
and I get it; he wasn't there,
right?
When they were there, right? I do believe that a lot of them were amateur or all at the same time.
But he hasn't put in the same amount of work. He's not there.
He's not there yet. So,
no.
But he is a monster.
And see, that's I get it. Like for me, and like I said, I get what you said. Like who you like is different from who the best is, and that's why I say, there's some people on here that, I mean, I like them, but I mean, we're talking about boxing, what you see as a boxer and as a talent, and I like how you clarified it, undisputed or unified. So that kind of narrows it down.
Yes.
To make it a little bit clearer. So I agree, with the choice. And as I said, we differ on a couple, but for the most part, I think we're in line. Like I said, even with your next guy, you had Haney at 3. I think definitely he a bad boy, but for me, I had somebody else at 3. And I think you had this young man. I want to say he was on your list, but I think he was your second choice. So this is who I had as my third choice, but I think you had him as your second choice.
Hey, man, that dude
is a monster.
That's exactly what they call him.
He's a monster.
Yes, he is a monster. So, man, can't take nothing from him.
No, like I said, I mean, one up, one down.
Man,
have you do it?
You know what's funny? Again, you look at BoxRec, right? You look at, you pull a name up, you look at the rankings. And when you do, what I found so interesting about Inoue is the fact that he has wiped out everybody. There ain't nobody else name listed. Like
everybody.
He got the 4 belts and then turn around these other subpar belts.
Yep.
Guys, their name ain't even up for consideration. Like, damn.
He a bad dude, man. He's a monster. He is a monster.
He coming through like Godzilla.
I'm telling you. And that's that. I mean, I found we were both in tune with that. Like I said, one up, one down. I think for me, my second guy to me is so my second, I had Canelo. I mean, I'm sorry. Okay. I had Canelo as my second guy. I mean, outside of the meat and some of the questionable, things where he was quite. I just think Canelo, he's just that guy for me that I like to see because he seems like he'll just fight anybody. To me, he's still a throwback where record doesn't matter, whoever it is, next guy up, and he's just that guy for me.
Not true.
Not true. You don't think so?
Not true.
Talk to me, Coach.
Why hasn't he fought Jamal or Jamal Charlo or?
But again, we're gonna go back to strategy though.
What is his name? There's another one. There's 2 of them. Jamal Charlo and God, I don't know. I can't think.
But is this strategy? Because like when I look at him, so this guy goes up and down in weight class, And again, like this goes to the thing where you talk about, and maybe you should talk some, you know, it's so hard to when you do that yo-yo thing,
Mhm.
the stress that it really puts on your body. You can't really be as sharp. I mean, I find it difficult. I think like Roy Jones did when he went up to heavyweight
Yeah.
and then came back down. I think after he did that, he was never the same. And is that though something part of strategy? Because then I get what you're saying with Canelo. He's not fighting the dudes, let's say, in his weight class, but the money is being put on the table for him to go up, and fight these bigger dudes. Again, I don't know if that's strategy. I don't even know if it's smart, but this goes back to our early conversation. You think that's a hindrance for him because he's not really putting in the work per se with the guys, the best that are around him in his weight class? Is that?
I mean, I would have to say yes in the fact that he goes up, but it's kind of like when Roy moved up to heavyweight and he
Mhm.
beat
Ruiz?
Ruiz.
Yeah.
Ruiz was an easy fight,
It
right?
was.
You know, he was a big, strong guy, but he wasn't as fast as Roy.
Mm-mm.
And Roy went there, ba 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 ba
Right.
ba, right? You know, so at the end of the day, there was no way. I just see Canelo again strategy. He's being
Mhm.
strategic.
Mhm.
Why fight Jamal Charlo where there's a chance I might lose,
Okay.
right? Lose my titles, or move up in weight, take on this guy and beat him. Now I look like I'm doing even bigger things, right?
Well, okay. I see what you're saying.
See what I'm
I
saying?
see what you're
So
saying on that.
yeah. So at the end of the day, yeah, I'm not buying the BS. It's all strategic and but again, he's doing the same thing. I'm
Yeah.
going to drag this out before I'll give Jamal Charlo a chance, but before I give him a chance, I'm gonna
Let me
make sure
get this money.
I'm gonna get this money, and I'm gonna let you age, let you take some
Yeah.
hard fights,
Yeah.
and now you didn't slow down a bit, and now we fight.
I could dig it.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on then. So your number one is the newest heavyweight, the reigning heavyweight champ, I guess for some, depending on how you want to look at it. Um, but he's a bad boy. I can't take nothing away from him. I watched his last couple of fights. He's talented. I mean, without question, he's talented.
Very,
Yeah,
very.
can't
Uh,
take nothing away from him.
he went in and dismantled AJ, and I love AJ.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a lot of negative talk about AJ after he lost to him,
Mm-hmm.
but AJ is still a tremendous talent.
He just got beat by a better guy that night. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's that was kind of clear and evident in the way things transpired.
yeah.
I think Anthony Joshua, he's one of the greater fighters that we've seen in recent times. Uh, I don't want to put I don't want to talk about our British brothers, but sometimes they say they questionable chin, and I think we've seen that. Not only that fight, but what was the fight that he lost? Was it that Ruiz too? I guess Junior or whatever.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, AJ is a heck of a fighter, and it's funny enough. Like for me, I didn't have Usyk on my list, but my bottom five, I had two folks. I had Clarissa Shields. I had to put her in here somewhere. I'm sorry, she had to be on the list, and I had her with Tyson Fury. I think we talked this lineal champion, and I have to give some credit to Tyson. I mean, I would like to see him and Usyk fight. I think that's really the only fight that's left that's really worth anything in the heavyweight division. Nothing against Anthony Joshua, but I think he's kind of blown his. He's had two chances to prove something, I guess.
Uh-huh.
And I want to say he's blown them in a sense. And I think outside of Fury and Usyk, whoever wins, I think maybe Anthony Joshua deserves a shot. Maybe Wilder gets a shot. Who knows? But I think
At,
the Fury,
at who? Tyson Fury?
yeah,
Oh,
the winner, like if Fury and Usyk fight, I think whoever wins that fight, you could be looking at maybe another Deontay shot, or me. I think everybody wants to see AJ with either one. If those two were to go head to head,
yeah.
I think those are really the only. I don't want to say the only four. Those seem to be the top four right now, in the heavyweight division that I think carry any weight that people want to see. There's a lot of young, up and coming talent in the heavyweight division, but they're just not bubbling up to the top. I guess to a point where it's enough money on the line for the heavyweights to go out and battle these young tigers out here.
Yeah.
So, Coach, with that being said, as we go ahead and close out, I know you have a busy schedule, but I want to ask you, to take a few minutes, if you will, please let our audience know where they can, find you online, where they can go ahead and reach out to you social media. And more importantly, while you're doing that, let us know how we can do or what we can do to help support you and the Community Athletic Partnership there in Houston, Texas.
So, without a doubt, it takes resources to make any of this happen. So, definitely, you can support us with donations. You can go to our website, www.capboxing.org. You can also reach us on Instagram at Coach Cap. Uh, uh, we've recently started another Instagram, an actual community athletic partnership Instagram. So it's listed as such at community athletic partnership. Along with that, TSU Boxing Club. That's another link that you can keep up with what we're doing. So you can assist us and support us with resources, making donations. If you're local in the area in Houston, you can support us with coming down to our location downtown off McKinney Street and support us by offering your time. And but last but not least, even if you don't want to give money, man, just share what we're doing, spread the word, share it on share it on everybody, for everybody else to share it on their platforms. We'd really appreciate it, man, because we are trying to generate traction and get this, grow some wings and get this thing to take off. And so far, we started in 2017, and so far, man, we are taking steps in the right direction, and we going up. So,
and that's how we like it here on Two Mics Up, all the way up. You know, the just keep doing what you're doing, Coach. I'm glad to be able to have you on here with us tonight. I did want to say, sis, what's happening? Thanks for joining us. Hope you're doing well. I really appreciate you taking the time out tonight to sit here with me and our audience and share, your story and talk about what you have going on there in the Houston area. And we're going to go ahead and do our best to go ahead and share and promote what you're doing and what you have going on. I do want to go ahead and just put this back up, really quick so everyone can see. If you have friends or family in the Houston area and they're looking for a great Veterans Day event, check out the Freedom Showcase. Coach Cap is putting this on, and I'll put that information, again out there for all of you to see, share, spread the word, go out and do what you can to support, and just share the love and continue to support this man and his mission to help our community, our young men, through his love of boxing. Coach Cap, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much.
thank you. I appreciate it. Oh, you know what? Forgive me. I failed to mention we're gonna have Ray Mercer in the house. He's
champ.
flying in. Yeah, he's a good friend of mine, and he's flying in for the show. So people come out, check us out. You're gonna get a chance to meet a legend of the sport. And believe it or not, you might be surprised. There might be a few more current world champions in the building as well. They always seem to kind of pop up. So
That's what's up right there. Well, look, I was a big Ray Mercer fan too. That man, boy, he could knock some heads. He was a bad man. So definitely, he was a bad man. So definitely, I wish you all success, Coach. And we'll be in touch. And anything else you have coming up in the future, this is your home now. So whatever we can do to help support, please let us know, man. And we'll do what we can to get you come back on, share your information as best we can.
absolutely.
Thank you, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate
Yes,
it.
sir.
Much love.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
y'all. Take
So,
care.
all right. So, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. Another great conversation here on Wednesday night. But before we go, I do want to share a few things with you. A couple of things in the news here, 2 mics up. We believe and, we're committed to something greater. And, we like to think of ourselves as the community connector. And over the next couple of weeks, we're going to be continuing to roll through with season 4 here on Mogul TV. Our friends and family over at the Mogul TV network, man, giving us much love and support. I also want to share with our friends over at the VABBD. They're having a holiday party. They're going to have art by Meech. We're going to have some libations. We're going to have food by Chef Shan. It's going to be at the 514 Wine and Paint Bar over in Dumfries. Get your tickets. It's $35 a head. So come on through. Come hang out. We're going to be sitting down with Mark Anthony Samuels. You've seen him on General Hospital. He's going to be sitting down with us this month. Jocelyn Noel. We're going to be talking about publications. And we're also going to be down with Tony Tomlin. We really have a lot of other things going on where we're working to help you elevate yourself and your brand. 2 Mics Up is all about social media posts, business promotions, presentation services, anything we can do to help you grow and expand your brand. Hit me up. Hit me up at 2 Mics Up, or you can just hit me, at Dame DNYDC on across your social media. And ladies and gentlemen, like we always do at this time, I just want to say, whatever you do, just remember a little progress each day adds up to big results. Remain focused. Don't give up, no matter what you're going through or what you're dealing with every day. Just remember, just a little bit of progress will add up to bigger things. So thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for rocking with me tonight. And like we always do at this time, you can follow 2 Mics Up across social media, IG, Facebook, and Twitter at 2 Mics Up. If you're watching this on YouTube, that's cool, because even though we're on Mogul TV, we're still doing YouTube. So go ahead, give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment, go ahead and hit that bell and subscribe so that you can be notified by all the newest things coming to you from me here at 2 Mics Up. Like we always do at this time, ladies and gentlemen, stay safe, stay blessed. Mics out.
007.